Mike Tyson was hypnotized before every single fight of his career. Tiger Woods was hypnotized hundreds of times during the prime of his golfing game. Billionaires, CEOs, motivational speakers, and anyone really at the top of their field is going to see hypnotists fairly regularly. It's kind of like a little kept secret, but you can look up all of that stuff. The reason they do is because it gives you an unfair advantage. It gives you an edge that no one else has, that many people scoff at or say, no, it's not worth it. But it really is one of the things that will change your life forever. I'm not saying that you need to go see a hypnotist, and I'm certainly not saying you need to have one on retainer like they do. But what I am saying is that you can learn a lot from seeing what the top of the top is doing and extrapolating that into your own business game or your own financial game or whatever you're trying to become really, really good at. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why they're even going to see hypnotists in the first place, what you get out of it, and then most importantly, how you can bring some of those benefits at home with you so you don't even have to see a hypnotist if you don't want to, and you can still get some of the same benefits. Why are they going to see hypnotists in the first place? Well, it's because hypnosis is kind of a cheat code. If you have two people exactly the same psychology, same physiology, same energy, same knowledge, and one of them is going to a hypnotist, that person will blow the other guy out of the water 10 times out of 10. And it won't even be close. Like it's such a substantial difference that you get from something like hypnotherapy if you're using it for the right thing. Everyone always brings up like, "Oh, you're getting hypnotized to stop smoking." Well, that's really like, to be honest, one of the things hypnosis has the worst track record with. Getting people to quit smoking or these very highly addictive behaviors using hypnosis is not always like the best use of it. What it's really phenomenal for is removing negative thoughts, anxieties, phobias, fears, confidence issues, sleep issues, removing those negative things, or something called generative change, which is making you better at something you're already kind of good at. That's where hypnosis really shines. And I'll highlight both of those for you. Removing something with hypnosis that you have that's impacting your life negatively, such as an anxiety or phobia, these are incredibly easy to fix. It's not uncommon that you'll show up with a phobia you've had your entire life, and then in one session with the hypnotherapist, it's gone. It's very common. I remember I had a client maybe 8 or 9 years ago come in with a really bad TMJ, really bad jaw pain. And when he got on airplanes, it was unbearable. He couldn't even like open his eyes. It was such bad pain. And it was really impacting his life. And so we did one session, 30 minutes, give or take, it was gone. And then he got on an airplane the next week, nothing. And that happened maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And he texted me about 6 months ago and said, "Hey, Tyler, I just want you to know it's still gone." And so that's awesome to hear. That's like really cool stuff. But that's a positive. If you have confidence issues or limiting beliefs or anything, anxieties, self-image issues, a hypnotist can get rid of that very, very quickly. And in fact, it's uncommon that you'll show up to a hypnotist for something like that and have more than 4 sessions. Most of the time, it's gone in one. But I've never seen someone show up more than 3 or 4 times with the same problem. Now, for generative change, it's a little different for being better at things that you're already good at because that stacks over time. A lot of the times, people will keep going to the same hypnotist. They'll come see the hypnotist every month or every 3 months and just get better and better and better and better. And the reason for that is because your psychology really doesn't have limits to how good it can become at something that's not physiological. Physiologically, we have limits, but psychologically, we really don't. You can just keep getting better at things. You can get better at things till the day you die, at least mentally. And so, this is why people like Mike Tyson would go every single time before a fight. And that was actually something implemented by his coach. Now, with Mike Tyson specifically, they did a very advanced protocol where they basically gave him a split personality, which is possible using hypnosis. And they had an alter ego that was only designated to do one thing. And what this does is it limits your bandwidth. It reduces all of your other brain processes and makes you focus on one thing, which makes you extraordinarily good at that one thing in that one moment. And so he had a very special use case scenario for his hypnosis, but someone like Tiger Woods would just go and just get better. Like he didn't do anything super fancy. He just got hypnotized to really focus on his game. And he just got better and better and better and better and better. And so this is something that you can implement in your day-to-day life as well. What I mean is you can visualize, because hypnosis in a way is similar to visualization. And so if you visualize an outcome and become very in tune with it, you get better at that thing. And so you can watch this happen in real life. There's a great guy on YouTube called Dan the Composer, and he's a piano teacher. But he's not a piano teacher in the way that most people are, where it's like you play this chord and you play this note, here's the melody, learn the left hand. That's not the way he does it. Well, the first thing he says is anytime you're trying to go learn a new song, listen to as many versions of it as possible. Learn covers or listen to covers, listen to the original, listen to it without the lyrics, listen to it with the lyrics, listen to as many versions as possible. That way your brain really is connected with the music. You understand how the music flows. And then you don't have to even be sitting at your piano to play it. If you are already familiar with the piano and you know the keys, you can just close your eyes and test out what you want to play in your own head. And so you can practice just imagining what you're playing in your mind and you get better at it. And he's right. That is a phenomenal way to get better at the piano is you just play in your own head. Chess grandmasters do this all the time. They'll be visualizing the chessboard and they'll go back through games that they've lost and try to figure out what could they have done better. And so they'll be playing a game they've already played and trying to find a winning combination. And so I'm not saying you need to have like a super memory for any of this, but you do need to be able to visualize and become very in tune with that visualization. Bringing this into business, if you want to make 100 grand a month, well, the first thing that you need to do is sit on the side of your bed and figure out what's the problem. And your brain will tell you the problem. If you ask that question genuinely, like what's my limiting factor here, it'll tell you it pretty quickly. You're too lazy. You're wasting too much time. You're not focusing on the right things. You're not advertising. No one knows who you are, so you can't promote yourself. It'll tell you very quickly what the issue is, and then you have to fix that issue. And so you can do two things. One, you can either go see a hypnotist and have this fixed for you, or you can walk yourself through visualization exercises on a very regular basis and have it when you actually are in those moments, you almost have the muscle memory down without even experiencing it because you visualized it so much. There's an old phrase that says the brain doesn't know the difference between vivid imagination and reality. And this isn't completely true, but it's pretty close. Like there's elements of truth in that. And so if you visualize something over and over and over again, when you actually do get in that situation, your brain will default to what you visualized. This is why people who are anxious all the time, when something actually does go wrong, they fall apart because that's what they've been visualizing. I'm going to fall apart. It's all going to be bad. But someone who hasn't been visualizing that oftentimes can fix the problem very quickly. Because they haven't been practicing that same repetitive behavior of being worried about everything over and over and over again. So, visualization is incredibly important, and you're going to gain a lot out of that just by the sole fact of you practicing the things that you might be worried about in a positive manner, see the best outcome. And so, if you know that you get lazy, visualize yourself, like put your phone away, put everything away, and visualize yourself the moment you sit at your desk, you do what you're supposed to do for 4 hours and really try to make that as life. Like, don't just be like, okay, I imagine it. No, like try to get in that experience. Try to feel how your desk feels, how the room smells, the sounds you might be hearing, some distractions that might come up, and then you being able to put your phone away or put whatever the distraction is and put it to the side and you keep working anyway. If you can really make that as vivid as possible and you practice that on a very regular basis, you will get a tremendous effect. Is it as strong as going to see a hypnotist? Probably not. But it is very, very useful regardless. And it's something that I do in my day to day life. In fact, I probably wouldn't be recording this video if I hadn't been doing this. It's something that I procrastinated on until I started doing this myself. Journaling is the big way. When you go see a life coach, a good one, like the one that billionaires are paying 10 grand for 15 minutes, like a good one. When you go see a life coach, what they do is they sit down and they ask you to explain your problem. And you'll say, I can't make good relationships because no one likes me. And they'll just ask you a question. They'll go, why do you think that? And then you'll give a response and they'll ask you another question. And after, 30 minutes of this, what happens is you actually pull the answer to fix your problem out of yourself. That's where the power of life coaches are, is they give you the power to fix your own problem. Journaling does this same thing. And so if you journal on a very regular basis, the benefit is not like some woo-woo like habit tracker, I've got a nice spread. It's that you write down what your problems are on a very regular basis and the things you're doing good. And your brain will start to notice the pattern and it will start to generate solutions for you automatically. I do think that if there's one of those like self-development behaviors that is like the biggest bang for your buck, it's journaling because it's like having your own life coach at all times. You'll start to notice your behaviors. You'll start to notice the same things you keep falling into, and your brain will generate solutions for you. If there's only one thing that I would say like is a necessary, like a must for self-development, it is getting a journal and being consistent. Being able to see what you've been thinking over the course of many days, weeks, months, and years is such a gift. Very important that you start journaling and you're very adamant, even if it's a single sentence a day. This is if you are running into any problems with your own psychology, specifically for business. If you're a young man under 35 and you're trying to be an entrepreneur or you are an entrepreneur, and you're finding yourself running into the same hurdles, procrastination. Now, if you are a young man under 35 or so, and you've been wanting to start a business or you have started a business, but you find yourself running into the same issues, procrastination, discipline issues, indecisiveness, you don't have confidence in what you're doing, I really recommend going to see a hypnotherapist. Regret is one of those things that does not occur in hypnosis. I've received hundreds of clients and I've sent hundreds of people to different hypnotherapists. And I've never once had someone come back to me and that was like, that's a waste of time. That's a waste of money. I can't believe I did it. But you can do it just once. You don't have to go see someone every month like the top dogs are. But people in the top of their field are all doing this. This is something extremely common, and the people who aren't doing it wish they were, you know, or if they don't know about it at all, they're missing out a tremendous amount, which is very common. Every once in a while, a video will show up on your feed, or you'll have a little moment where you realize, like, this is a moment to take action. And this is one of those moments. So if you know that you're running into the same hurdles, if you keep doing the things you've always done, you will never get anywhere. It'll keep being the same thing that you have. And so if you want to take it up a notch and go to the next level and remove the discipline issues, the procrastination, the insecurities, the confidence issues, the indecisiveness, any of those psychological and nature roots, come see a hypnotherapist and get that sorted out in a single session. Also, subscribe to this. If you're seeing this on Instagram or Facebook, go ahead and follow me as well, because I'm going to be releasing much more of this exact thing, trying to level you up through your own psychology. So I'll see you next time.